we went from this to this. And although the weather changed, the impressiveness of the landscape did not. Join us as we explore the French island of Lavezzi, essentially a pile of rocks in the sea, and then head over to a pirate's hideaway in the hidden city of Bonifacio. Let's begin the story on the island of Lavezzi. Perhaps you remember that our last episode ended just as we arrived to this island, which Aladino claims is his favorite one in the area.
Dinghy secure? Because this dock could be used for tourist boats, and that's why we want to leave it free. But I don't think this corner is going to disturb anybody. Alright, let's go.
We started walking along the dusty trails between boulders, the sun beating down on our heads.
Walking around Lavezzi town. Smile. That's a cute smile.
A small graveyard on the island marks the graves of sailors who died in a shipwreck that smashed onto the rocks of Lavezzi.
I was lost in the woods, under dust, and the fairies found me.
We continued on through more rocks, with Aladino getting more and more excited.
Regarde, oh, regarde ça! Wow! Devant moi, il y a de nouveau des ondes. The hay that is flat by the wind. And it looks like the ocean. Ta-da! Look at it! Look at it! Now how cool is this color contrast? Where it changes. Look at those formations. Oh, I die. Such incredible variation of vegetation for being a pile of rocks. And I especially like this tall grass, which lays down because the strong mistral, and it just looks like waves in the ocean again. Yeah, I'm quite fascinated by it. And then also, just right here in front of me, then there is these bushes. And those, and it looks like the world has turned black and white. Ha! Incredible. And what I was also absolutely stunned to find on this island are fig trees. There's wild figs. You coming? Yeah. Ah, that way. Okay.
Devotion that brings me down. That without my love for the ocean, I will be no one. No one.
After a swim and more footage of the amazing grass, it was time to return back to Magic Carpet.
And look at this now. Now it's the flatlands, and there's these purple bushes. Oh, there's the green haze. There's these haze. I'm sorry, I might stop talking tonight.
Might.
That evening, I baked a fresh bread on our stovetop. Luca made lemony potatoes. We threw together a salad, we watched the sunset, and we finished the evening with a few games of rummy. Then, still warm from a day in the sun, we fell asleep.
Good morning from what probably was the worst night on Magic Carpet ever. Yesterday we stayed on a buoy, and when there was no more wind, the buoy started banging against the boat. So that was one problem. So that was one thing we learned. I could have rigged up the whisker pole to keep it away from us, but I just dropped the towel on the buoy, so it was like the sound was dampened, and that was it. That was lesson number 1 for buoys. And today we grabbed the buoy again and we learned lesson number 2 from buoys. Well, no, I didn't learn the lesson yet, but it just made an awful creaking noise. I guess the rope, from how it's attached on the cleats and just moving millimeters, the sound gets amplified in the V-berth and I barely close an eye. Let's go to Bonifacio today and hopefully I'll get some sleep in the harbor there. We are going to Bonifacio. It's a short sail. It's probably like a little less than 10 nautical miles. Here we go!
We had a good wind and set a downwind course for Bonifacio. Bonifacio is an ancient town built within the walls of a fortress and home to an incredible hidden harbor. The fortress was founded in 828 by Boniface II of Tuscany, who wanted to build an unassailable fortress and naval base. He found that these high coastal cliffs were the perfect spot, and the reason why should become clear as we near the harbor entrance.
So Luca was just asking me about my job on the tall ship, because I was saying the only time I've been to Bonifacio before is on the tall ship. I've never been there with Aladino. So then he was just asking me a bunch of questions about the ship. And as he was asking me those questions, the tall ship just sailed out of the channel. Like, it's right in front of us now. It was just the craziest coincidence. I was looking at it, I was like, no, there's no way.
So crazy.
So insane.
That is such a cool looking ship, so super coincidence that as they were talking about it, it pops up out of the harbor entrance, and it sets the scene perfectly because this used to be a pirate fort, a pirate haven, and it's one of the most spectacular harbor entrances that I've ever sailed in.
If you were sailing past Bonifacio, you'd never know there's a harbor here. The natural channel cuts deep into the cliffs, providing perfect camouflage. Fortress walls peer out from the rock faces, the colors matching perfectly with the surroundings. After twisting through the cliffs, the port of Bonifacio revealed itself to us.
Sailboat Magic Carpet to the harbor of Bonifacio.
On est là pour contrôle, go ahead.
Est-ce que vous avez une place pour nous?
Oui, il y a des places à l'intérieur. Poursuivez à l'intérieur.
Ok, on arrive, merci.
Allez, suivez-moi, je vais vous montrer une place.
Ok, et on aimerait bien entrer comme ça, pas au retour.
En avant.
À l'avant.
Pas de problème.
Ok, je vais vous suivre.
Alright, so we've got to follow that guy and he's going to take us to our spot.
It was really exciting getting into here. Now we're in place and we are fueling up with some quesadillas before going to check out town. door.
Oh wow. I think this is the most intense entranceway to a town I have ever seen.
Look at it again. I think these are tracks that the wheels come on. If somehow they pull them back to here, then the gates would be closed.
Bonifacio, an ancient city, a view of the ocean, a pirate's harbor hidden in the folds of pale cliffs. It's a city that feels at once both impenetrable and precarious. Its thick stone walls and hidden harbor suggest a city of great strength, but it all sits atop an overhang which doesn't look that reassuring.
Oh, this is where we have no solid rock underneath us.
Yeah, literally beneath us the ocean has just eaten away the bottom of the cliff, so this is all built on an overhang. Just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I hope it will still last a while.
The rock in Bonifacio is an overarching theme, like this candy store built into a cave.
What is the best thing?
Salted licorice from Holland. Holland has the best candy stores, but this one is definitely the best in terms of ambiance.
The streets were filled with other oddities too. Tables of bric-a-brac sat seemingly unattended. The city gates had a unique closing mechanism, and cute cafes with antique lamps crouched in quiet streets.
Found a place. We're having a drink. Nice.
So, amore,
That's me.
how many times have you been in Corsica now? Or in
I don't know.
Bonifacio in particular?
Like 4.
4 times? And what keeps you coming back?
The location.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The location on top of the cliffs, and just thinking back that this was like a pirate haven. The harbor. The natural location of the harbor, really, and the fortress on top of it.
Yeah, and this
love
little
that.
town is so sweet, all within the fortress.
Yeah, it's really quite ancient, and you can
Yeah.
see that everywhere. That is
Yeah.
really cool.
So, Luca, this is your first time in Bonifacio, right?
It is.
What do you think so far?
It's gorgeous. It's a little bit touristy, but the cliffs and the birds which are flying over the cliffs are just gorgeous.
Indeed, I agree. So this is my second time in Bonifacio. The first time was on the tall ship, and it definitely is something very special. I haven't come across another harbor quite like this one. Just the entranceway is so dramatic, the cliffs are so dramatic, the town is so sweet. But last time I was here, when I was on the tall ship, I was working, I was busy, I didn't really get the chance to explore. So this is so lovely to sit in one of the old bars and have a very yummy beer, actually. Alright, it's a sunny day and we're leaving Bonifacio. We're gonna head up a little bit up the west, I had to think about that, the west coast of Corsica. So we're gonna continue our journey north, and then in the next few days we're gonna jump off from Corsica. We're gonna head over to the coast of France and explore along there for a bit before returning to the mouth of the Rhone River and beginning our journey northwards through the continent.
And so we left, winding through the cliffs of Bonifacio in the filtered light of an autumn sun, onwards, always, to the next adventure. Thank you to all of you for watching, and an extra thank you to our patrons, without whom none of you would be able to watch these episodes. The patrons really make this possible. They make all of our filming equipment possible. They make it possible for us to take the time to go sailing and make all these videos. So huge thank you to our patrons, and an even bigger thank you to these folks who really go above and beyond every week and every month to make sure that these episodes keep continuing. Until next time.